Life can seem meaningless when people aren't prepared with the knowledge that they're in control, at least partly, of their life paths. You carve out your own understanding of the events that shape your life, and you decide how you'll react to these events. And this is true whether or not there is a God working for the good of all who believe in him. You believe there is a God. You believe, as you said, that God gives you purpose and meaning and helps you understand life. But you've also recognized that you haven't received a phone call or a 500-word essay or even a telegram from God explaining the purpose of your life or why you or anyone suffers. So you are having to figure out for yourself what purpose the events in your life and others serve. Excuse me. You have to go through every experience determining how you'll interpret it and what choices you'll make after those experiences. Are you going to be positive? Are you going to move forward? Are you going to be negative? Are you going to hold grudges? Even if there is a God trying to intervene for your betterment, you have to choose to open yourself to that help. You have to choose to see the bright side of crummy events in life. You choose to learn lessons from your mistakes or not. Plenty of people opt not to learn from their mistakes. I don't want you to misunderstand me, and I don't want anyone to misunderstand. I'm not trying to say that there is a meddlesome God out there who would send people to jail, cause miscarriages, give diseases, stir up car wrecks, arrange chance meetings, or even inconvenience people with misunderstanding just to teach lessons. But theists who believe in that kind of God already have their answer to the question of why people suffer. The answer is they can't know what God's intentions are, so they have to wait and trust that a God has their best interests at heart or in mind, even though an incorporeal being can't have a heart or a mind. Well, I'm not waiting until death to find my peace of mind and accept suffering. I strive to accept truth, as you probably do. But I specifically seek to accept truth that is backed by evidence because I don't want to be led astray. I have high standards for what I consider evidence, and I see evidence that I exist. I definitely see evidence that I suffer, that almost every living being suffers and all die, and that life can be joyous despite suffering. I even see that some lessons can be learned from suffering, so I strive to learn those lessons before it's too late, and to help others learn those lessons if they're open to it. I hope more people choose to use their experiences in that way to help others. So maybe what you're asking is how non-supernaturalists like myself deal with all the crazy things that happen in life if we don't trust the same assumptions that you do, like the assumptions that God gives meaning and purpose to everything. Some people seem incredulous that atheists can deal with the ups and downs of life, but I actually think it helps not to assume there's a great mind in control of my suffering. It gives me more comfort to realize there may not be any one entity in control. So there are no demons acting upon me vindictively, and no gods or angels failing to act in ways that prevent my suffering. It's not because of a past life, something bad that I did, or karma catching up to me. It's just natural, and everyone has to deal with it. The only mind that's controlling my experience is my own. So how I choose to react to my suffering is a major life decision. How do I get through it? Like my grandmother dying, or like realizing that my dad has an infirmity that can take him out of my life at any time, or by trying to grasp that, as healthy as I feel, I will die someday. I continue to have an abundant and exuberant life by accepting life as I find it. And going outside. I love going outside, but that's some practical application, I guess. I would rather have life in it with some pain than no life at all. I just embrace life as it comes. I cultivate in myself an attitude of gratitude, no matter the circumstances, and that's not easy, but I try. And I live a more intensely grateful life now, here and now, since I don't assume there's another better life awaiting me after this one. It makes this life far more precious. And as a friend of mine once said, life is not a dress rehearsal. This could be it. And so get the most out of it and enjoy it. Even the tough stuff. I have peace because I made the choice to be intellectually honest, even when it led away from my Christian faith. And I have joy because I continue to be open to life. If you're asking in general how people who have no secular mindset get through tragic events, it's as varied as humans are. Within atheism and agnosticism, you find the same categories of attitudes as you do within theism and deism. Some people are optimists, some people are realists, some people are pessimists. Everybody deals with different struggles and suffering in vastly different ways. You can find opposing examples across the scope of humanity. You can find atheists who can and can't handle suffering. You can find Christians who can and can't handle grief. Like my grandmother, though she had years, she never got over the grief of losing her husband. Whereas a secular friend of mine got through a very tragic death of one of his colleagues without having to lean on supernatural religion. It seems, from these examples and many more, that theology, or the lack thereof, isn't the most important factor in how people approach life. So what does atheism offer the weak, the grieving, the poor? Nothing. It's not a cohesive worldview. It's just one answer to one question. But atheists, like all other people, have various life philosophies, like humanism, that have a lot to offer. People's personal philosophies are where they draw their strength in time of adversity. And I would wager that you probably have a personal philosophy which transcends your theology and would help you through adversity. This may be a philosophy that's stayed the same as parts of your theology have changed. I made this video in the hopes of having a meeting of the minds between at least one believer and one skeptic. But I also hope to open the conversation up to many more people. I hope I answered your questions, or, at least made some sense. I am interested in your thoughts, and I am very grateful for our respectful discourse and the questions you asked, because they really made me think, and I appreciate that. I hope in the future more believers and non-believers can come together and communicate, not just on YouTube, but in person, in respectful ways, constructive ways, because we really do all share this earth. And as humans, we all share a lot of very similar circumstances and experiences, and we share suffering, and that really does unite us. We have the chance in that suffering and that mutual understanding to, to reach further understanding. I hope that by you asking these questions, and with me and other people answering, I hope this is setting a precedent. I'm starting to get pretty grandiose here, but I really do hope this is setting a precedent, because there are many, many people of many, many faiths all over the world, faiths that are dying out, faiths that are blossoming, and there are many, many people who are skeptical of all of these various beliefs, and we really, in order to be able to affect the kind of change that we need in the world, we have to be able to communicate. So, anyway, I appreciate your part in this communication. and peace.